interesting. Be seeing you.
What can I do for you? See you around.
My freshman's here. Hi. No, I can tell something's wrong. What's wrong? Okay, was it the girl over there that doesn't know how to dress? Okay. Hey, can you come here for a second? What were you talking to them about earlier?
How I'm more popular?
Popularity?
Yeah.
Oh my god, how popular are you?
Like really popular?
No,
that's awesome. Yeah, like the cool
Okay, so
freshman.
actually, let me just give you some advice because clearly you need it almost as much as you need a piece of gum.
Oh my god, what?
Girl, brush your teeth.
Oh my god, are you kidding?
Anyway, so basically no one here cares about popularity as much as you do.
What?
Sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not really a thing.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
also, I didn't even know your name until you requested to follow me on Instagram last night. And
Wait,
for
stop.
someone
No,
whose
like-
bio says good vibes only, you got some pretty bad vibes.
Wait,
yeah.
I didn't
Anyway,
mean, like-
I want to leave and not be around you, so do you want to go get coffee or
Just
something?
take me instead.
Oh my god, sit down! Okay, let's go.
Oh my god.
My freshman's here. Hi! No, I can tell something's wrong. What's wrong? Okay, was it the girl over there that doesn't know how to dress? Okay. Hey, can you come here for a second? What were you talking to them about earlier?
How I'm more popular?
Popularity?
Yeah.
Oh my god, how popular are you?
Like really popular?
No,
that's awesome. Yeah, like the cool
Okay, so
freshman.
actually, let me just give you some advice because
Natty talk. The only physiques we can be 100% certain are natural. Testosterone was first synthesized in 1935. This is a very important year for bodybuilding because after this point it becomes impossible to definitively prove someone's natty status. But luckily for us, bodybuilders were already doing their thing before the 1930s, and we actually have photographs of these guys. Honestly, if these physiques don't get you excited about the potential of natural bodybuilding, I don't know what will. I think these guys look amazing, and it's even more impressive once you think about how basic their equipment must have been. Nowadays, pretty much everyone has access to way more information about programming and nutrition, and your average gym will have equipment that these guys couldn't even imagine. I'm going to be doing more videos on these pre-steroid era bodybuilders, so if that sounds interesting, you can subscribe to this channel to stay up to date.
Do you intend to link the fire? Then you must first take the throne.
far, and just overall consistency.
Okay, chat. I already see you starting to spam. Hashtag OXG or hashtag quad in chat to let us know your thoughts, whether on paper or in practice. Now, Spaceman, do you believe on paper will come true, or is this going to be more of an in-practice matter?
I think the benefit for both these teams is, one, you're both fighting for number one in your group, so there's a lot you can just leave on the field inherently. Two, we saw them both play in the semifinals just around 2 weeks ago, and in that instance, again, Oxygen dropped to Carmine, and you look at Quadrant, who lost as well to Team Liquid, and it was both sweeps, 4-0. So there's a lot on the line for both these teams. At the end of the day, I think Quadrant just have what it takes. I think they are on the upswing.
Ooh, we got that. You're sitting alone over there. This is what you get for being mean.
What are you guys talking about?
We abandoned you. This guy has, he's all of a sudden he's a famous rapper and he thinks he's better than all of us. So
This guy.
we're leaving you alone on that one. Chat is with you though, okay? You know,
Thank you, Chad. Chad has a brain. There you go.
I guess we'll find out because I don't know. Cash
Almost
money.
ready.
Watch out for him on the field.
It's going to be exciting. Leaf, thank you so much as always. Welcome in everybody to what should be an exciting best of five. Remember, all these early matches are best of fives, and then we move on to the brackets. Best of seven situation, Oxygen, Quadrant, Turtle. You know what? If there was ever a time to decide who's the best in their group, I think this matchup might do it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, how much do you want me to be wrong? How much do you believe in this Quadrant roster? Okay, you really want me to be wrong? Decent amount. You know, and I have to give it to you. I think that Quadrant, a lot of people in the last split were, putting too much disrespect on their name. I think that people would see them in the competition and maybe not put the proper respect to take down dubs against top-tier teams. I think they have leveled the playing field more and now have gained a lot more respect in the region. They've been taking a lot of these top dogs down, and whether it's group stages or Swiss stages. But just up against Oxygen, I can't see it happen, Spaceman. I don't want to be that guy, but I can't see that.
I mean, it is absolutely worth noting that that on the other side of the field that Rise is playing currently with, I believe, whether it's a fractured wrist or a sprained wrist, one of the two. I think the MJ game is definitely a potential. Look, are we going to get it here? Maybe not. But it is worth noting as well, Cash, you'll see him on your screen with an elongated name. Regardless, both these teams, again, sitting at 1 and 2 respectively in their group. You win this, you change the game differential for sure. Regardless, off the opening minute 30, not much has happened. Very little fanfare, no goals scored, but Cash trying to change things and begins the diatribe downfield, but very quickly it's denied through the corner, and the contest has really kind of been the big thing for Oxygen. They've gotten better at the contest game at midfield, and if they can keep that up in this series, they have a very good chance, Turtle.
Yeah, and those better challenges like we just saw there from Archie is allowing them to move forward with those touches from Jorius, but you're right. I mean, this is an interesting game from Rise. We'll see how that affects him. We had the MJ flu game. This is the Rise broken wrist game. We'll see how that affects him. So far, it doesn't look to be plaguing them whatsoever because he got a player like Jorius who can put some shots off the backboard like that.
I mean, he's blossomed into his own right consistently whenever he was back on Dignitas, and as he's continued to progress his game, I think this is a nice trio for him to be working around. We've had a lot of expectations looking at just Oxygen as a whole, as a roster coming into this season. They've lived up to some, but maybe not all. We are looking for a championship caliber team at the end of the day. Ixa will clear the back line very quickly, but it's still Rise who takes it off his own side of the field, and you can never count out one of the most deadly strikers when it comes to clutch time in the league, as Rise was hunting off the backboard, but very quickly read. You don't want to give up too much, and on the other side for Quadrant, they have their work cut out for them as this offense has been relentless.
Oh, Jorius, nice 50-50. About to build something in front of the net. Potentially a threatening shot comes through for Oxygen, but quickly is Cash to deny this. And so far, it has just been Oxygen looking to plant a siege in the half of Quadrant, slowly wind down their boots, take away a lot of 50-50s, take away possession at that, and just wait for one mistake to come out. But with a transition like that from relating wave, you got to make sure you get back on time. A double commit too is going to leave some space for Quadrant. Let's see what they do with it. Try to send it off the backboard. It's not the most well thought out plan, but still in charge and with possession is Quadrant, and finally the follow through comes out. But Rise, what a save and what a rotation to keep it away.
Ooh, it started with a 3-man hit, and it was a threat through regardless, but the ball still somehow careens around towards the opposite corner, and
still there.
Save that comes out of nowhere. A big pinch. Rise with 2 saves back-to-back. The wrist means nothing. He's got all his fingers. Catch from the ceiling. Reset around. Rise, 3rd save in a row. Give him all 3. The Hydra working in net by his lonesome as Archie clears way. The demo leads to a power play for the moment defensively, but with a minute 20 to go, you got to think at some point the ball will fall, and Quadrant are still pressing.
Yeah, and this is the quadrant, like I said, that earned some respect recently. Able to put on a crazy amount of offense, crazy barrage of shots, but the saves were just that much better from Oxygen. It was still a good look from Quadrant, and they are getting out of their own half quickly here as we approach the final minute.
That's a nice clear to midfield, but Rise still continuing to cut down, and he's been able to grab that boost and move upfield with it as well. You got two pushed up, one on the island. It's Archie getting the call, and it'll leave it to Relating Wave on the backboard, but you expect the pressure to continue here if you are on the other side. As Cash and company are looking for the clear. Quadrant very much struggling to find possession. Challenge after challenge. Archie with the win. It's sent it off the backboard. No threat. You're going to have another one pushed up. It's Rise now playing it low to the ground. Will have to move through that 50 to get it out centered. He will. Relating Wave clears it for the moment. Quadrant do breathe. It's Iso leading downfield. He finds a touch. Followed up by Cash. The win on the 50, and Rise will slow it. He'll get possession. Into the blue half we go.
Oh, but he didn't grab the boost. I do believe somebody from Quadrant did end up stealing it. And this is where we go back the other way. It's been, you know, both teams taking turns as to who can hold the most possession. Ixo looking for the flip reset. It did look like he found it, but ultimately denied by Oxygen. 5 seconds to go. Both teams looking for a miracle, unless we might get sent to OT. This ball is going to hit the ground, and into overtime we go.
Everybody's sweating over their channel points right now, and I do not blame them. But not a single goal scored here in game one to start. Rise very off the kickoff early towards the backboard. And you'll see that consistent pressure. As soon as they meet three, they're going to throw it downfield, as we see now. The low drop, and Rise is ready.
I like that speed from Cash, but the shot not as powerful as I'm sure he had hoped it would be. And Rise able to take a piece out of the defender, block his rotation to the ball, and secure a goal.
I mean, he just leaves it on a park bus, and Joris comes up for the extension. Rise a piece, just enough. It's a 1-0 win, and in the end, that's all you need if you're Oxygen. I mean, that midfield pressure was there all game, but finally it converts. And I think that's the important takeaway for game one, Turtle, is that even in crunch time, they had that locked down at midfield.
Oh, 100%. And that was such a difficult save, too, for Ixo, but just got smacked out the way. And I agree. I definitely think the midfield presence was stronger from Oxygen, but there were still good looks from Quadrant. It started out, and I'm thinking, okay, this is probably going to be a dominant performance from Oxygen, but Quadrant were able to get big clears down the other side, and you'll think back to the beginning of that game where Oxygen were forced to get saves like that you just witnessed on your screen. Last second saves, coming through, rotating in, and I know that this game has been crazy, but Leave, what else is going on?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's just kind of... I'm really not putting a lot of weight into game ones right now, just because, you know, we've seen, again, look at the fact that we have going up to Carmine Court got reverse swept, then went up against him game 5. Just a lot of those doesn't mean much. But right now, we have most of the results you'd kind of expect, although Vitality is taking out Team Liquid. Liquid's trying to secure themselves top seed in that, so losing to Vitality and then some other results can change that. But they definitely want the win on that, but that's the one I've kind of had my eye on.
I mean, if you ever wanted a scarier day in Europe, this is probably gonna be it. This is going to be one of those days where you're very much hoping it doesn't come down to game differential, whether it's a head-to-head that eventually spells your fate. We don't want that, but that's why you come in and you win your matches. You have to win through your group, and if you do so, you're probably very happy with how today's going to go.
Gibbs and D-Rex working overtime just to figure out what is going on, how to break down these tiebreakers. It's always going to be confusing, and it's always, of course, in Rocket League going to come down to the last second, the last potential stat, maybe the last game win. This game always likes to keep things close and keep it entertaining, but into game 2 we go, and as Leaf said, game 1, it's not going to tell the whole story. It could definitely be an appetizer, but the main meal might taste a little bit different. We'll see if Quadrant can somehow bounce back after a difficult loss in game 1.
And it was a bit of a natural spread in game 1. The creativity on the shots was certainly there for Quadrant. They just didn't have the spacing maybe they're so used to and accustomed to so far in the European regional side of things. But again, about a minute burn in the opening part of this game. Like we saw in game 1, very similar. The harmonies are there, just not a lot of goals so far in this best of 5. Only one that's been across the board, but a long clear and a booming one at that as we send it right back the other way. Ooh. We'll try to thread it downfield, but Rise will get the corner grab, and with that, resources are now here for Oxygen. They'll begin their attack upfield, but they're going to have to deal with the defensive work we've seen out of Relating Wave and Ixo.
Yeah, here comes that midfield presence. Again, that was a difficult touch from Cash. I'm not really sure what he was aiming to do. He's in this corner. He has 50 boost to his name. The pinch comes out from Archie, and Cash just puts it in reverse, but you don't even want to go for a touch there. That's a very awkward one.
It just don't make no sense.
Make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. 1-0 so far. Oxygen very quickly on the board. And those are the kind of mistakes you can't make if you're playing against a team like Archie, a team like Rise, and of course Jorius all together. Just disgusting across the board.
It might be the panic too. I mean, you're looking at this midfield presence where you can't get a clear out, and you think that you have to get a touch right away, Spaceman. So you hit in reverse, you don't get the touch that you wanted, and it's a free one to Oxygen. Which I thought game one, it could have quite literally gone anyway. It looked like a coin flip, but this one looking more and more dominant.
And it's much more maybe just the fact of a game one being a game one inherently, intrinsically with how these things tend to work out. But if you're going into the length of a series against shooters like, of course, Rise, and I don't care what Jorius has up his sleeve on any given day, he's going to be a threat. You're going to have to deal with those small mistakes that Jorius just missed. Why is it every time I'm hyping up a player, they do something weird? Relating with gets it over him.
Just curse him like that, Spaceman. This is a painful one, too. We just saw a big miss on the quadrant backboard, and this one, a huge miss on the Oxygen half. This was grounded, and I think Jorius side flipped. He had boost, 2 big mistakes, and I guess we're back to all tied up. Nothing happened, basically. We can just erase that from our memory.
If I have this kind of power, I'm gonna manipulate it so chat freaks out and they're like, oh my god, my channel points, and I'm like, haha, nerds, I got you where I want you.
You had predictions, man. If you have that power, you should just try and make yourself look like, 400 IQ over.
What I would really like to see is cohesive Rocket League. Now that's what I put out into the world, and all of a sudden, boom, we get it. But I mean, so far, if you're going back to baseline here, Turtle, it's tied 1-1. Both teams have made defensive mistakes. That is a positive takeaway, knowing that you have about 2 minutes to play with, and there's a lot on the clock for you to find.
Yeah, and the story of this game has been more possession for Oxygen, but better counterattacks out of Quadrant. They look to be much more lethal whenever they go for clears. They've got a player usually lurking downfield. Meanwhile, Oxygen are just trying to set up a lot of this possession and wait for a mistake. Ooh, there's an opportunity that goes a little bit sideways for Quadrant. But this is the first bit of possession that's strung together for them, and quickly denied, I wanted to say, but actually Quadrant won that challenge, and yet there it is, quickly turned around for Oxygen.
And Jorius is more than happy to leave Rise as kind of the lone man out once that ball does escape upfield. They're going coast to coast here, but Jorius will have to fall back. And Cash looking for the double tap. It's a commit, but still possession through the corner and fighting for it in traffic. Ixo low touch. Cash at midfield. Archie bumping him off the play. Nobody really getting physical other than a couple of side swipes, but even looking there, you're expecting maybe a little bit more of a clear house on the goal line. As Relating Wave just puts it softly off the backboard, and Cash can't get there in time.
The defense from Oxygen looking bunched up. 2 players were in net on the goal line. One of them did find the save, and you're playing all this defense. But Rise says, hey, let me just take this by myself from the left side of the wall through every single player and do it all myself.
Jorius acted as a little screen, setting the pick and roll, and all of a sudden you got a 2-1 lead with a minute to go. Exactly 60 seconds on the clock. It's a kickoff win. Cash, 1v2, potentially, no boost. And here comes Ixo. Where does that one pinch? Right in front of the box. The Relating Wave doesn't have the look he wants. He'll fall off. And if you're Oxygen, you're probably not too stressed right now. Like, granted, the offense is pressing, but even here, you've handled it on the 1v2 situations consistently. Nice bounce play from Jorius. Can't continue the read. Ixo can't find it.
Yeah, I think the one thing you're worried about if you're Oxygen, just staying organized. Other than that, it has been smooth sailing for them when they're finding positions like this from Archie. That's such a good interception. That's gonna water down a lot of these attacks from Quadrant. Even though they're playing so much defense, it hasn't been spooky for them. You're seeing moments where you're thinking, why aren't Quadrant, maybe going for a midfield pass here, a couple of basic shots on net. It's not enough to break through the defense. And 3 seconds left. Oxygen in control. Big clear down the other side. Double tap from Jorius. It's a good bounce, so maybe we see one for the road for Oxygen, or potential light for Quadrant, but it does hit the ground. And game 2 again in favor of Oxygen.
I want to say it's surprising, but it's really not. Looking at how game 1 eventually ended, you saw Jorius and Rise upfield, not only spreading the defense thin, but throwing it off the backboard, playing through the corners, holding their boost and getting physical. Same situation here where Jorius was acting as a screen. You set that roll, Rise gets a shot, all of a sudden you have a lead with 60 to play. And it felt very often in this game too, Leaf, there just really wasn't much for Quadrant to work with offensively, and once the play broke down, they were struggling to get back on the defensive side of the field.
That's okay, they'll bring it back.
Is it okay? Is it really okay?
It's 100. Charlie, it's okay.
Okay.
I like when we yell at him.
dribble through 3 players. We're not seeing that same performance, that same star power, and now we're seeing our
clock. But if you're Quadrant, something has to change, and it has to change now, because it has not gone your way. And the midfield pressure, really, the entire series has been there for Oxygen.
Yeah,
not been contested too much.
It's mostly just been relying on big clear spaceman downfield out of Quadrant. I think the last game was the best we've seen in terms of midfield presence, and this is not the best we've seen with Jorius on the defense. Another defensive blunder where this was a slow lob shot. He was just a little bit too forward.
Yeah, I want to chalk it up to nerves, but I don't think it is. Just make sure it's okay. Somebody sent him a nice tweet like, "We love you. We hope everything's all right," because that is 2 in a row.
Hey, I mean, they're still up 3-1. I don't think they're really stressing too much, to be honest.
Yeah, well, everybody's just sitting in front of the net. What is happening? What is happening on the goal line? It's finally out. I'm sorry for getting so loud. I apologize. It just nobody was moving, and it freaked me out. It's like when you see like a person that's like 99% human, but the 1%'s freaking you out. Like that's that. So, you ever seen that? They did studies on it. Wild stuff. Here we go. Back to the defensive side.
Spaceman.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand.
I was scared, man.
Sometimes you get scared. You're seeing this happen a lot in the game where there's everybody on the goal line. But look, these players, they'll relax, they'll calm down, they'll get it sorted, and they have indeed done that. But they have 2 goals to find. And now the boys in orange, ball is in their court. They have to control this game. They have to get it out, find transitions, infiltrate the midfield more, and stop losing those challenges, because now you're faced with a 2v1, a bump play, and the lead increases.
I mean, that's a ridiculous win from Jorius. Quick rebound by Archie, and what do you do in this spot? Like, where do you go?
And
what happened?
Jorius has been the lead blocker. Was he the one in that rise dribble? Jorius was the one trying to mess with the defense as well. Huh?
For every defensive mistake that Jorius has made today, which has only been 2, he's immediately gone upfield as an enforcer role and cleared lane for Rise to finish the deal.
Yeah.
And again, you're going to mitigate your own mistakes by creating opportunities. That's the best way to do it. Jorius, more than happy to play as the second string at the moment. And you put something on the board. Still got plenty of time here for your Quadrant, but it's felt like this game has just gone by so quickly. Archie will clear.
This region, baffled by. But we do look at the Moist G1 matchup right now, which was, again, a match point for G1. Moist grabbed a dub back, and now G1's trying to shut it down in game 4. And then again, all the other ones are going to 2-1 right now. Yeah. So,
I mean, we came into today with essentially the positions being Carmine if they get #1 seed in the group or they win their first 2 matches, they immediately qual for the major, all that. They just need to get out of groups. And it's just like Liquid Ox.
You know what we should do? Oh my goodness. Okay, we're seeing some crazy goals.
Was Moist down 3-1 and now they're up 4-3? Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah.
That is incredible. Against G1? That's incredible.
And G1 are on match point, bro. This is absolutely baited. They set the trap down, and Moist are just making them look a little silly. But there is still one more game. If Moist take this one, still go to game 5.
Sometimes just be a silly little goose, you know?
I would like to see an RLCS trailer of just Jorby just getting so hyped. You know, we've seen videos of him on a timeline freaking out over teams. You know, that's enough motivation to get me to buy a ticket and go. And oh my goodness, Atomic ties it up 4 apiece. And they're trying to keep game 5 at bay and end it here.
That's a close game, that Moist G1. That's good.
I'd say so.
I like
That's
it.
pretty close.
It could get a little closer.
I think it's working out. It's what, 24 seconds, 25? Yeah, I think it's coming down to the wire. It's getting a little goofy.
I want to say this, Lee. You know how I said we're not friends?
Yeah.
We're best friends. That's what
I'm double down.
I
was really hoping you were going to double down.
I was going to say, this is quite the swing. I don't know if
I would never do that to my boy.
You can be bought so easily. It's actually insane.
Turtle or me?
Turtle.
Oh.
No, maybe both. You know what? Leave it just ambiguity. We'll leave it up there.
Wait. This ball's still up. You better be quiet. I want to see this. G1. Are they off the backboard? The ball's up! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Look at the hype. Dorito has done it. Off the pass from Atomic. Buzzer beater. And that series is over.
Oh, who's wet now? Crazy.
Wow. That was
someone
not feeling very moist after that.
Someone just asked where they can watch the Moist game. Well, nowhere now.
GG's in chat.
You can watch it on a VOD.
There's our game 5 that we wanted.
Yeah, these matches are going across the stream. We're tuning in to these streams, which means you can do the same if you want to get in there with some commentary and just to join the chat and join those communities. So make sure you're if you see any of these popping up here and it's your favorite teams playing to head on over those matches.
Yeah, you don't want to listen to the clowns over here just goofing and gaffing and screaming about the teams. Make sure to tune in. But I still it's kind of nice getting to swap between all of these. Normally I'm over here like, okay, let me check this stream out. This is also a nice central point. I'm having a blast with you two.
I like
you're making my Friday a great day.
Well, thank you, best friend.
BDS, they frustrate me because they just never seem to figure it out. And I'm still waiting to know when this team's going to start clicking.
Right here. Right here. Literally right here.
Hey, to be fair, Tundra has been being annoying.
Oh yeah, that's not shade on Tundra. It's more just the shade on BDS.
I see a lot of shade thrown to BDS, that included, and
that's me.
I get it. If you saw the first series that was casted with the lovely Shogun with that BDS series, I was watching BDS and I was like, they still look like the champions. It's just there's these weird double commits on defense where I don't know what is inducing all this panic with them, and it blows my mind that I'm seeing that. So I don't appreciate the disrespect on BDS. I still think they're a fantastic team, and I still expect them to take that win against Sun.
Hey, can we give a shout out to Fufax Stop? I mean, they took down Vitality earlier, and right now they're giving Williams Resolve a run for the money, and Williams Resolve again wasn't looking terrible. I mean, look what they did against Liquid too. So it was a little sloppy at times, but they definitely had some great plays. Noah, in particular.
Absolutely, and they, of course, I mean, you look kind of even back just a little bit, maybe near the end of last year when they played, I think it was like the Meyer Cup. They had a pretty good result, top 8. And granted, you're looking at top 4 for maybe a little bit more stability, but they've had a lot of success. Even if you look at some of the regionals as well, maybe around that 9th through 12th spot. This is a squad that has certainly proved, maybe not to the same extent like where M80's taking top 8 consistently. This is definitely a team that proves that they can at least hang with the big guns. Maybe not win, but they can get up here. So there's a lot to be excited for with this squad and also be impressed with. As you don't see this too often. Williams Resolve might be a bit tier above them, but still, it's nice to highlight some of this younger talent.
Oh, and this is now all tied up. I believe that series is going to go into Game 5. Meanwhile, Sonics up against Monaco. All tied up here, 50 seconds to go. Round 3, Monaco are in the lead 2-1 in this series.
Yeah, these two teams are actually looking to not be eliminated right now. So this is an elimination match for the two of them.
Which makes it nice and easy.
Yeah.
I mean, Sonics has only won one single game today, which is a bit surprising. Because
to be fair, they started with a sub. They did have their coach playing the first 2 games, which obviously is just 2 games of the whole day. But yeah,
and that sweep against time. I mean, I'm not counting too hard. That's a good shot. Bottom right, Stizzy. Okay, Monaco. Looks like this could be the end for Sonics if they take this dub.
It's definitely a frustrating split for Sonics. I think this is a squad that's much better than the record shows, and this is one of the better amalgamations of a Sonics roster they've had in the RLCS so
I can agree with that.
So I think that going into the next swing around in regionals and potentially a major chance, I think they will be better. It's just
away from getting a reverse sweep. They've got the mental game, the mental strength for the sweep, and Monkey Moon puts the 4th one in. That's got to be the end for Tundra. I mean, come on, a 3-goal lead, Game 5. We've seen crazy things happen, but Vitality, are they going to get this goal? Oh my goodness, we saw a buzzer beater earlier, and it looks like we might get another one off the backboard still. Come on, keep this ball up. I want the drama. There it is, Team Liquid though. First sweep. GG's over.
Is this the BDS you want?
This is the BDS I know.
I think it's BDS a lot of people should want.
Yeah.
Like a decisive, clear win so far in Game 5. There's still time, but I mean,
see that double commit? That's what I'm talking about, bro. All of the trust in BDS on the defensive side has like evaporated. Like they won the world championship, and
that was a clean double commit.
It was okay.
I mean,
it's still a double commit nonetheless.
But like it pinched it out.
But that's literally the reason. That's literally the reason why they lost that first series we saw today. There were so many double commits.
Yeah, but they're up 4-1, Isaac.
But before, it made them lose series before. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're not losing now. They're up 4-1. Okay. That double commit's fine. It was a clear.
But it's frustrating because they should be still on top. and I'm just upset about it, man. Let me have my emotions.
You're getting retroactive trauma, and it's okay. I'm just telling you, the double commit's fine. They cleared it.
All right, fine. I'll calm down.
Although
Is tight. Obviously, K Corp, they're good. They're #1 seed going into that major there, but the rest of them are all like, who's gonna be going? Well, I have some answers. We do have 2 of them. Oxygen and Team Liquid. Those guys are done. They're good. They're clinched in. They're ready to go. But we have a few more. And I want to look at the bracket here, Spaceman, because you've been working with D-Rec.
Crunching the numbers.
You're crunching numbers. You're getting it all sorted out. Wreck my brain real quick. What's going on in this round 1?
If it was not for D-Rex, everything would be lost. But here's the situation. If you are Liquid, Carmine Corp, and Oxygen, you're happy. You've clinched the major. Everything's good. Our first matchup here is going to be Quadrant versus Moist in round 1. If Quadrant end up losing this game, not only will they be eliminated from the major, but there's a lot on the line for Moist as well. If they lose this best of 5, they are also eliminated. Granted, if Quadrant win this, and German Amigos lose their matchup against Vitality, Quadrant will be tied for 5th place against German Amigos. If Moist win this best of 5 and German Amigos lose against Vitality, Moist will be 1 point behind German Amigos at 5th place, so you're hoping that things go your way. If Vitality end up winning their match, they then clinch the major. So all they have to do is beat German Amigos, and they're in major contention. BDS and SA are both eliminated with a loss. So you're looking at a couple of teams where if you lose, there's no shot. If you win, you're hoping a team like German Amigos also loses, and you're hoping people in 5th and 6th spots either lose their games or win to give you a point bump. There's a lot happening in this bracket, but essentially, all these round 1s do matter because they are major qualification potentials, and that's what's important.
Turtle?
Make your life easier. Just take the dub.
Just take
the dub, all right? And for everybody watching at home, especially if you're going to tune in tomorrow and Sunday, which you should. If you're here today, I don't know why you're not watching the rest, because this is going to get even crazier. This is what makes the 3rd and the last regional before we get into the majors so dang exciting to watch, because you get to see these teams. Everything is on the line now. You want to make it. The reason why these players grind so hard in this split is to make it all the way to San Diego and, of course, eventually the World Championship.
This is cool. Every single one of these matches are important. Go find the team that you want to watch. Support them. Team streams are still going on, but over here we will have 1 match we're tuning in on. This is the schedule. You can already see what's going on there. But here we got Moist facing off against Quadrant. This matchup, Spaceman was just talking about this one. Either one of these teams lose, and it's done. The chances are over for them. But going forward, Spaceman, there's still some question marks depending on who wins here.
Right, you don't want to be in charge of your own destiny sometimes, because then you kind of leave it up to whether or not you play good. Regardless of the situation, all you have to do for either side is come out and play your game. If you win, you then pray to the gods and hope the German Amigos does something. Other than that, this is going to be a tough one. This is still a best of 5. The later rounds are going to be best of 7s, but this is now single elim. You win this, you have a shot to make the major. You lose, you do not. I don't know which way this is going to go. Turtle, I mean, this is all the pressure in the world.
This is so much pressure, thinking about what is on the line, making it to San Diego. But the key as a player, obviously, is to just try and stay present, practice your breathing, focus on that, and not worry about the outside chatter, because that is what will inhibit your gameplay. That's what will make you panic, that we've seen so many teams do. So staying focused, staying present, staying in the game, that's what both of them need to focus on right here.
Chat. Hashtag MSD, hashtag Quad, who's taking this one. This is a doozy for these 2 teams. Obviously, we usually have a lot of fandom behind Moist, but I think people are really starting to warm up to this Quadrant team. We'll find out those results in a second here. Analysts, which way is this going to go? I got to tell you right now, I'm sticking with it. I'm doubling down. Cash money, baby.
I just wasn't convinced. I was not convinced on that series. Quadrant up against Oxygen. I didn't see enough, dude. I did not see enough. I think out of all I've seen from Moist, there's just a little bit more. There's a little bit more, and I think that's going to push them through in round 1. I'm sorry. You guys are wrong. You guys are wrong.
I agree with your sentiment. I still think Quadrant have more in the tank than Moist do as of late. I haven't been impressed with both teams. Today, Quadrant's been a little bit worse, but Moist, I'm still looking for that Moist we saw of old. Different teams, different players, understand, but something's got to change, and this is the biggest match to do it on.
Well, hey, chat. What do you think? Is it? Was I right about it? Nice, yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
100%.
Come on, chat.
Yeah. Hey, well, just because you were right last time doesn't mean you're going to be right this time.
It's true. I am usually an idiot, so it's fine.
Hey, well, everything on the line right now. This is a massive match of Quadrant versus Moist. Spaceman. It's exciting.
All right, let's get into
Let's
it.
go.
Folks. You wanted it. It's a best of 5 first round. Here we go into the playoff bracket. Single Elam. You win this, you keep your hopes alive. You lose it, we will see you next time. Turtle, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a decisive one. But if you're Moist, if you're Quadrant, we have to see better offensive pressure and consistency throughout this series.
Yep, you need to be able to find that pressure and keep it. That was one of the difficult things that Quadrant had to handle up against Oxygen, and I don't think it's going to be much different against Moist Esports because there were still also mistakes from from Oxygen that Quadrant were able to capitalize. So the punishing game is certainly there out of Quadrant, but how do they create opportunity, Spaceman? How do they generate more shots? That's the big question for me going into this one, as Astral already gets a bump on the defender and pressure has been applied from Moist Esports onto Quadrant within the first minute.
I mean, with that demo leading the way, you're going to be looking at players like Ixo to be the retaliator on the other side for Quadrant. He is so good at getting physical and reestablishing kind of a baseline in midfield, but very quickly, that's 2 demos in a row for Juicy and Joyo. We've seen this before. Ixo with a poke out, so the defense holds strong for the moment for Quadrant. The biggest factor today has been the lack of offense. They have struggled to get creative, especially when it comes to those second touches. We're looking for rebound game to be big, but off the start, Moist looking very comfortable on the other side of the field.
Yeah. And here comes Cash, who's typically repping the Dominus. Always going for those air dribbles, trying to take the ball into the air. Doesn't break through the defense. It did look solid at first, but we're back down the other end quickly. And as soon as I say that, another big clear. Both teams trying to grip onto the possession, but nobody able to stick tight with it. Another clear for Astral, immediately denied. Another demo, 2 on the goal line. Those goal line demos are surely going to prove to be effective at one point or another, but just waiting for the final shot. And there's the air dribble from Cash that we expected to see.
Yeah, and getting that call as well with very little boost. You had Relating Wave coming up for the meet on the challenge, but just couldn't get the extension through the corner. But already a demo to respond with. So you're seeing the call and the action at least reversing back for Quadrant.
Look at Cash.
So quick shot, better save from Astro, but it's those threads there for Quadrant you have to be worried about. For Moist, remember, they still have a newer player on this roster. Juicy's had a couple of reps with this team for sure, but he is one of the newer faces, and it's going to have to be a factor going into this game where, I mean, Turtle, this is a best of 5 that essentially decides your fates going into the major, if at all. What kind of pressure is on these players to execute in a game like this?
I mean, it is overwhelming at times, and that's why I wanted them to focus mostly on this game, and that's where coaching comes into a play here. And it's going to be a factor that determines their fate, whether or not they can remain calm and stay locked and loaded in this game. And for Juicy, I'm sure a lot of pressure is falling on his shoulders, almost there from Relating Wave.
I mean, that's actually a great play by Cash to try to get back and just slow the play. Ixo was out of position, and he gets caught, but it's off the top post. Yet again, another chance for Moist, but slowly goes by the wayside. You still have numbers around up until the contest comes through. Joyce will get the call, and with that, Ixo plays it slow. Relating Wave looking for the clear. He will find it. Boost now in the tank here for Quadrant. They can't get to midfield very cleanly. The demo might help. The redirect is even better. From Joyo walking into the lane and throws it towards the back net.
Even better indeed. Look at Joyo go 50-50, 1 in his favor because it bounces right back to a teammate. Then a quick redirect. He's able to match that pace, keep it going, and find the top right corner. 1:52 to go, and it's the first goal in favor of Moist Esports, and it couldn't come any sooner.
I mean,
number 1 seed for the region going into the major.
Yeah, so like from Joyo walking into the lane and throws it towards the back net.
Even better indeed. Look at Joyo go 50-50, 1 in his favor because it bounces right back to a teammate. Then a quick redirect. He's able to match that pace, keep it going, and find the top right corner. 1:52 to go, and it's the first goal in favor of Moist Esports, and it couldn't come any sooner.
I mean, that's just a great catch on the off rhythm there, and just
another one
through the demo. We've seen 3 now from Joyo in this game to start. It's a kickoff win by Moist. They get a bump and they get a clear lane.
And this has got to feel so good for Juicy. I mean, you talk about the pressure that's on his shoulders, being able to get a goal and to extend the lead in the first game and get momentum early on your own side, on your own team. Certainly going to be a confidence booster. Good kickoff, good finish. Here we have Moist Esports looking to take game number 1. And round 1 is all best of 5 still. We have not gotten into best of 7 territories. That starts in quarterfinals.
There's back-to-back wins on the kickoff there for Moist, but conquering it.
Oh,
That's a dangerous ricochet. It almost lands for a third goal. Would have been a hat trick so far, but you are looking again for the pressure to mount on the opposite side of the field. Quadrant struggling. Not a lot on the ground game. Challenged left and right. Relating Wave's going to have to burn essentially all that he had to keep this one out. They'll give it to Cash to continue on with this play, but very quickly denied. 50-yard line completely locked up for Moist, and a much more professional offense we've seen out of them so far, especially today. They've looked like the Moist of old,
That's
but
gotta
that
be it,
should
though.
be a freebie.
And that's a big demo, too. We initially did see this from Quadrant, but this was all Cash. Gets the demo rotating out. He's lurking in the offensive side, takes boost, has supersonic speed, takes it out, quick turnaround behind the ball. And now we're within one where Quadrant, it initially seemed like this game was all done and over. Now early signs of life, or excuse me, late signs of life, as we only have 58 to go.
I mean, there seems to be sometimes an acquiescence with a lot of teams where once you get caught in a rut defensively, there's really nothing you can do and you have to wait for your opportunity. Sometimes you got to force it as well. The demos have been huge to start in game one. If that continues, it could spell disaster for both squads, but very quickly we've seen that off connection on the inner lanes where Astro with a beautiful touch almost gets his center back out. Juicy could not close the deal, but Ix will be more than happy to continue this one on. He gives it to Relating Wave on the thread, down low to the opposite post, but still kept out, and a big win by Quadrant to keep possession here. Astro will keep it free and leaves it up for Moist. Now they're trying to find the counterattack, and they do so. Relating Wave, easy save for him. 23 on the clock, plenty of time, only down by 1.
Quadrant not looking to drop game one without putting up a fight. And they have been wasting, I'd say, all of their energy now and putting everything they have on the line. Better late than never, but Cash with bumps, with the infiltration of Moist Esports in your own half. It looks like it's not even possible, but there's a big clear and another demo play that could open up some space. 2 demos, but Joyo, that clear might have just saved them, unless Cash has something else to say about it, and a big boom down the other side. Still might be up, though, for Quadrant, Spaceman.
And still up, Ixo is alive as well. Cash, just couldn't catch it and hold it in time. That's credit to Moist. And in the end, GG's all around. You see it in the chat. Joyo was fantastic to start this one. 6 shots on net for him. A goal as well, an assist all the way across the board. But really, it was the demos from Juicy. He had 4 shots to start, but it was really the physicality that opened up a lot of the offense, allowed Moist to flourish, and that was kind of the offense we're used to seeing from this organization alone. Turtle, this is the kind of Moist you want to see if you're a fan.
Oh, absolutely. This is the reason why I picked them, because I expected more firepower, more, no pun intended, more juice out of them on the offensive side. But don't count out Quadrant yet. They still look good, and I know there's other teams that are battling out there.
Yeah. I mean, again, every single one of these matchups, important matchups here. For German Amigos Vitality. Vitality's up 1-0 on that one. Fufax Dop is actually up 1-0 over Sus. Sus faced elimination, and BDS getting that win over Monaco in game 1. BDS, again, if they lose, facing elimination.
It's worth pointing out that, of course, looking back at game 1, it was 6 shots for Joyo, who had been, again, the lone player left from that original Dynasty roster. Again, when they only kind of took home a LAN championship, but still the presence that team had, they kind of had all of Rocket League in a grip for a while. He is the last member, but he has certainly found a healthy squad around him to potentially continue this run for Moist. A huge win on the goal line will keep that one alive and keep this game at 0-0.
Honestly, I don't expect this game 2 to start out the same way as game number 1, given how Quadrant ended it on the right note right before we came into this one. They were getting demos. You saw that turnaround from Cash to get the first goal for his team, and more physicality coming out from Quadrant, and you can see how that has bled into game 2. More possession, better looks at the net, more creativity, more physicality, everything starting to connect for Quadrant, and it looks like they might be the ones to score first.
I mean, Quadrant were kept in a defensive bottleneck throughout the majority of game 1, and that's where kind of in the off lanes, Moist were succeeding at finding those infield passes that opened up a shot and a clear opportunity to create more space, and so far it worked out for a game 1 win, up 1-0 in this series, a best of 5 still. Everything after this winner's round 1, all best of 7 single elim. Cash cannot continue the play, but Ixo will get the call now as the second man up, centers it back, but Moist should be there. They will. The clear. Joyo's ready. He was downfield overextending anyway. It's going to be a slot from the bottom post, and it's set up perfectly downfield.
And it's rinse repeat with Joyo all the way downfield, like you said, setting up the shot. This is exactly what happened previously, but Joyo was able to find the top corner. Now he's finding the top of the dome here as it drips down right in front of the net. and an easy follow-up for Astral.
Well, now you got to ask the question in those counterattacks, Turtle. What are you seeing out of Quadrant that has not been the same? Whether it's been an improvement over the start of their series today, have they changed anything from the last time we saw them?
I think it's just a matter of being more cautious of where, excuse me, Joyo are. I didn't even know how to finish that sentence because what we're seeing in front of us is more detrimental plays from Moist Esports on the defensive quadrant.
Juicy has all space. I mean, it's free
stop.
real estate.
They don't
There's
stop.
There's no one challenging the offensive third. Granted, the defense wasn't really there thanks to a couple of bumps, but other than that, you are asking the question, where is that defense from Quadrant that is so ISO heavy? A dangerous one as well. You're looking at a potential 3-0 game.
Look at this
Astral,
speed.
top post, can't continue it. No closing, infield pass, Astral wide of the net.
It just feels like Quadrant aren't as aware of the positioning from everybody on Moist. Another crossbar down and out. You'll see a lot of passes from Moist Esports easily connect across the field. Quadrant are positioning themselves too much on the ball, in my opinion, and need to spread this field wide. Big demo from Relating Wave, and that's what has created space, is those demos, and still trying to use that same strategy, but on defense, you can't rely on those demos too much unless you're rotating back, and even then, it's not going to be the greatest impact. You've just got to start reading these plays better, Spaceman.
I mean, it'd be easy to say that Moist are getting so much space, but it's really Quadrant giving them this much to work with.
I mean, look at this. Look at all this space for Astro to work with.
Like,
Somebody's got to challenge. Look at this. You can't give Astro this space. Nobody wanted to challenge early. Ixo is way too late on it. Astro has enough time to get his flip reset, to ground pinch it, and put it into the top right. 3-0.
I mean, in that instance, what you're telling me is you're going to take the ISO play and you're going to one-on-one win this battle. Everybody else is waiting. The entire defense is waiting as a reaction to see what's going to happen rather than commanding the play as alone. This is an interesting spot for Quadrant to be in. We haven't seen a lot in game one. Started to turn around, but it wasn't enough to be a significant sample size. And even here, you're looking and waiting for the creativity and offense to get back out, but the defense just hasn't shown up.
I definitely think the offense for Quadrant has stepped up in this game. When we did see them on offense, it was much more threatening, which has been rare, though. I mean, far and few between. Maybe 1-2 opportunities at best that looked like it could have been a potential goal, but their defense still has not changed. And look at the space. Moist Esports threading this ball across the field, finding open lanes and taking advantage of them.
I mean, just pay attention to some of these corner grabs, though. Moist have been struggling to find it when they've kept the offense upfield. It's a lot of triple commits through the corners. Quadrant stacking heavy on their own side of the box. And Cass is just trying to play it to the adjacent wall. He'll do so. Does he have anything else? No. The demo, again, cuts everything down. The offense now stagnated, and it's up to their lone devices before Cash comes off respawn. Power play here for Moist. How do they continue upfield? Well, looks like we're still fighting. Great pass. No connection. Relating Wave misses. That's a big miss by Quadrant that could have eventually led to a goal. It's going to be too easy for Astral. And that's the moment you want back.
I mean, think about all the momentum, the speed that's lost on that whiff from Relating Wave. You're looking to get a counterattack against a very aggressive Moist Esports. Cooks your pinch in the back left corner. Looking deadly as ever. But little moments like that, little hiccups in the transition where you're not getting the best connection with the ball, that is going to squash so many opportunities that you would previously get had you connected better. But more demos playing into effect, and another missed opportunity off the crossbar and out. Astro is still looking to recover, and Joyo gets back in time. This ball, so many shots against the blue net. Will anything fall in? No, it does not. Save after save. Moist Esports continue to keep this game scoreless against Quadrant.
You'll get some space, but really not enough. And this is just credit to the defense of Moist.
Even
Juicy
more.
still floating in front. Everybody's on a traffic jam, and nobody's able to score. You got 9 seconds to go. Surely one for the road off the post, and Quadrant can't get anywhere inside this barricade. It's been absolutely relentless defensively, and Moist shut the door on game 2, one away from closing this series out, and that was a masterclass defensively.
Defense just made of titanium steel for Moist Esports. Nothing able to crack through, even when rotations looked slower, even when they had to go for pre-jumps, still managed to keep that ball out. And that has got to be so demoralizing if you're Quadrant. They need to get back in the series. This is San Diego on the line for both teams. If you lose, there's no possible chance. If you win, you're still in the contention. And Leaf, I know there's some crazier stuff going on. Keep us informed. What's going on?
I don't know if it's crazier. I think they're all pretty good right now. But BDS is currently sitting at match point. They're up 1-0 in game 3 right now. So BDS looking to make sure that they're not eliminated from San Diego. we do have Suh, I believe. Yeah, Suh is fighting back against Fufak Stop, because Fufak Stop is at match point with 2-0
Battle
right
of the
now.
no logos.
And for Suh, it's important because, again, they lose, they're eliminated. Fufak's no chance, but for Suh, they did have a chance. And over with the German Amigos and Team Vitality, they are currently in an overtime in Game 2 with Team Vitality still up 1-0 on that. So not much has changed in that one.
Well, here becomes the reality now, Turtle. If you win this and you're Moist, you're 1 point behind German Amigos if German Amigos drop their series.
Yeah, that is what you're hoping for right now for Moist. You are the biggest haters right now of German Amigos, hoping they can drop that game. And then that means, like you said,